This S&P 500 daily chart, if you haven't heard already, printed a bearish engulfing candle. You can see it in the thumbnail. The body of the red candle completely engulfed the body of the previous white candle. So now we wait to see if it breaks under the low of this bearish engulfing candle, which on Friday low 5117.50. If it breaks under there, there'll be some downside price action. But historically, these bearish engulfing candles don't lead to too big of a downside move, and especially in this day and age where everybody is told to buy the dip. And the last time we saw a decent bearish engulfing candle was back here in July of 23. You can see this red candle right there. And the next day it didn't go under, but then again the next few days it didn't go above it either, and then eventually broke under the low of the bearish engulfing candle. So that was a pretty good clue there when it broke under that low, as it was still valid because it didn't break out above it again. So that could happen again here, so be vigilant for that to happen again, or it could just have a straight down open on Monday the 11th. And I'm still looking at the mid-band of the ATRs of this Elder Impulse chart. So blue is number 1, red is number 2, and bluish gray is number 3. And it broke under number 2 in red. So these levels, according to the chart, the ATR1 is at 5102.91. The mid-band, which I'm looking at, is the 50.55.44 level. However, I have a rudimentary compensation for it, because as price gets pushed down or up, then these bands will follow suit slightly. So I have prices underneath these here, and the Elder Impulse ATR midband at 50.49.44. Elder Impulse 1 ATR1 here at 50.95.91. So a little bit slight underneath these printed levels here. So I'll wait and see what happens if it hits this midband again, 50.49.44. If it breaks down to the downside, we get a little more trouble there. But however, I'm not going to fret about it until this former support line in the CRB Commodity Research Bureau's daily chart here in blue, this line. If that gets broken to the upside, that means commodities are going to start going on a run to the upside. And it has a bigger chance of happening when the first rate cut from the Fed becomes clear, when that will happen. And quickly, we'll look at the fact that it went into a secular bull market and is still in one, even though it fell back down into a primary bear market within this secular bull market trend here. So once again, primary bear markets within the context of secular bulls aren't really all that terrible. This one went down to the boilerplate 20% bear market indication, mainstream, and then promptly took off to the upside, had some fits and starts. But is now above this third Gann angle in red here. So I'm going to zoom in. We'll take a look at this little area here. And the CRB is definitely above it, so this is a level to watch to see if it gets back under it or if it bounces off of it and makes a run for this former support line, which hopefully will be resistance to the upside. And in the S&P 500 daily chart, with every sell risk level known to DeMark showing and some 13s, we can see the aggressive sequential 13 and the combo and sequential 13, and now a sequential cluster sell countdown 13, which is somewhat ominous. And the combo cluster sell countdown 13 is a little bit far away from being printed. It's at 9. We have to get to 13. And if the dip buyers come in on Monday big time and push price above this aggressive sequential sell risk level, close above that, it'll be qualified. Keep going, get above this sequential and combo sell risk level here at that level, and that will be qualified with a close above that, and that would pretty much negate the bearish engulfing candle too if it gets above that for a close, this high 5189.05. And I lean towards that not happening for the qualifying process because this sequential cluster sell countdown 13 printed, and we still have all these other 13s hanging over our heads. And the combo and sequential buy setup 1 count printed, so there was a price flip, and what was lost was the sell setup count 6. So anything past 5 is a little bit disheartening to take, so it was kind of a blow to do that. The higher on the sell count, the worse it gets, so I've seen it many a time below the 8 and 9 count, so that was a 6 count I lost.